Hi my beautiful people, hope you guys are doing okay. Thank you so much guys for watching this video. I know you're watching, and thank you so much for stopping by on my channel and watching my videos, subscribing, commenting and sharing my videos with your friends. So guys, in today's video we're going to talk about a very interesting kind of visa. So are you hoping to migrate to Australia? Do you have the desire? Do you have the passion to move to Australia? And would you like to advance your career in Australia? If that is you, then you're in the right place, because today I have a very special information. I want to bring across this information regarding this visa in Australia that the government introduced following the shortage in the workforce. The skilled workforce has been very limited in Australia following the COVID. Of course, we know lots of stuff happened. Maybe people died, people retired, and we didn't have people coming in. So Australia has been really suffering from skill shortage, and so they introduced this visa a while ago for this so that they can bring in people from whatever part of the world to come and work in Australia. Now, this visa is called Temporary Skills Shortage Visa, and the visa number is 482 visa. I'm sure majority of you might have heard or not. If you've not heard about it, so stay tuned, because this visa might be for you. Most people migrate to Australia as students, and maybe you are not part of the people who want to come to Australia as students. So this visa might be the right one for you, because you're not going to pay a lot of money, you're not going to lose a lot of money. Now, this is what happens with visa 482. The employers in Australia, they look for staff, like they look for employees in Australia, right? They put advertisements on the websites. They are looking for employers, and they cannot get any in Australia. So they go ahead and tell the government, look, we've been looking for people to work in our companies. Or maybe one employer goes and say, I've been looking for people to work in my company or in my business, and I cannot find any. And then they agree, the government and the employer, they come into this agreement that the government is going to provide a visa, and then the employer is going to sponsor someone or an employer from outside Australia. So this employer will pay for all your expenses, visa. They'll pay for your they might pay for your relocation. When you come in Australia, they might pay for your rent, maybe for a few months before you start getting paid, and then they offer you a job. So when you come to Australia, you're not coming to you don't come and start looking for jobs like any other people. For you, before you come from your country, you know you have a secure job. So that's the best that's an advantage of this visa. So the government agrees that agrees that they are going to give people these visas, but definitely there is some conditions that are involved for you to get this visa. So those are the conditions we are going to talk about in this video today, guys. Now, number one, you have to be nominated for a skill position by an approved sponsor. Now, as I've said, for example, someone owns engineering company, and they want to fish for engineers to come and work in their companies. So they go and advertise. If you have the skills, if you are trained as an engineer, and you have minimum 2 years of experience, full-time experience, not part-time, full-time experience for 2 years, and you meet the relevant English requirement. So that would mean maybe you'll do IELTS or PT, and the minimum for you to come in is 6.5. And of course they'll tell you how much English they require, but the minimum is 6.5 in IELTS. Then you have the right skills, of course. like if you're coming for an engineer, you don't have the skills of a plumber. As long as you have the right skills, then the employer is going to consider you. Now, the other good thing about this visa is there's no age requirement. So for you to be approved for this visa 482, there's no age requirement, there's no age limit. So even if you're 50, you're 40, you're 60, you're 40, whatever, this visa is for you as long as you have the right skills, and then you meet the security and the health check requirements and the biometrics to check your criminal history. As long as you meet all those requirements, then you're good to go. Australia will not require they'll not sponsor every other skill or profession. So for you to know if your profession, whatever profession you've done, for you to know if Australian is going to sponsor or employers are sponsoring the skills that you have to hop on the Home Affairs skills occupation list, and specifically you have to check for the temporary skills shortage visa. So under this temporary skills shortage visa, you'll find the occupation list, and you have to check if they require your skills, whichever skills you have, because this is not for everyone. It's not for everyone. It's only for those skills that are short or minimal in Australia, and that the employers need to source from outside Australia, if that makes any sense. The other thing is, this visa, the 482 visa, is divided into basically it's two. So there's a short-term stream. The short-term stream, you get the visa for up to 2 years or up to 4 years if an international trade obligation applies. Now, you can be given this visa for either 2 to 4 years. That's what basically in layman, that is what this means. Now, the other thing you need to know, this visa might lead you to permanent resident, but it is not guaranteed. Now, you can even come and maybe do a deal with your employer, because the same employer can even sponsor you for a permanent resident. So maybe you can strike a deal with the employer. If you come here and you find that you like the job and you enjoy and you love the work environment, because of course not every work environment is suitable. I can tell you, you can go somewhere to work and you feel like, no, I need to have left like yesterday. So if the work environment is suitable for you and the employer is also nice, you can strike this deal and tell them, I'll stay for 4 more years for me to get for you to sponsor me for the permanent resident. Then you maybe work for them like 8 years. So for 8 years, you're guaranteed of a job, and the employer is guaranteed of an employer. So it's a win-win for both of you. Now, the other thing is this visa, there's a mid-term stream, which is the visa is given for 4 years. The same thing, the skills occupation list will be under this visa in the Home Affairs. So you have to click on to go on I'm going to drop a link for the skills occupation list, so that you can click and check if your occupation or your profession is there, or if you can get a sponsorship from one of the employers in Australia. The other thing is the other good thing about this visa is you can become a student, you can enroll. So while you're still working, you can enroll into a college or a university. You can advance your studies. That's a good thing. And you don't need to apply for another student visa, right? You don't have to apply for a student visa for you to study. So that's the cool thing about this visa. So you have a job, you're not straining, you're not struggling to get a job, and you can go to school. And the other good thing is this. So you can study, after you finish, you get a job now you'll have a higher chance of getting another job here, or even getting a permanent resident, because Australians, they like when you've studied in their universities. They really think or they know their studies or their education system is top notch. So if you study here, you'll have a very high chance for you to even get permanent resident if that is what you want. And if you don't want to stay in Australia after your visa, maybe 2 years or 4 years, you can go back to your country. You'll have good money. You will go and maybe do some investment, or for those who want to retire in Africa or in Asia or wherever you come from, that will be a good opportunity. You'll have made good money and go and retire in peace. The other good thing is you can travel in and out of Australia within your visa time. This is the coolest thing about this visa. There are some visas here in Australia whereby you are bound to stay in Australia until your visa is finished. Like, you cannot even move out of Australia. So with this visa, if you can go back to your country, you can go to wherever. How cool is that? You can go for holidays while you're still in this visa. So I think this visa is really cool, guys. The other thing is that you can relocate with your family. If you're not married, you have a partner, you're living together, and you'd like to relocate with them, and maybe you also have kids and you would like to relocate with them, and you're not married, you don't have the proper documentation, you can still provide evidence of you living together, evidence of you maybe owning properties together, evidence of your bills. Maybe you've been sharing bills, and that's the coolest thing, and that is why it is good for you to track and to keep record of your bills. So if you guys are not married and you'd like to move together, that would still be accepted, and provided you provide the right and the relevant documentation. And then the other thing is, if you migrate with your family, they get all the rights to work. Now, if you migrate with your family, let's say your wife, you as a husband, you come with your wife, right? Your wife will get exactly the same working rights as you, so they can look for their work as well, because it is quite okay for you to work, not just to come and stay in the house. I'm not saying staying in the house is bad, but if, for example, you have a profession, maybe you're a teacher, you might want to come and explore and see how the Australian schools work. So for you, if your husband is working or if your wife is working, you'd also get the same rights. Now, the other thing is this: if, for example, one partner is the main applicant, and the other one is subsequent entry, which is like they are coming as under the main applicant, that is what I want to mean. You can as well get your skills assessment checked early, so that by the time you come here, you have a positive skills assessment. Then with your positive skills assessment, that's the only time you can get a job. The other cool thing about this visa is this: you can apply this visa while offshore or onshore. So for those people who are outside Australia, this visa is the right one for you. But that doesn't mean that people that are in Australia, this visa is not right for you. Sometimes you have really tarmacked with going from one visa to another, you don't have an option. This could be a good option for you. If you meet the requirements and you've gotten an employer to sponsor you, this could be a very cool visa for you. The other good thing about this visa is this: when you've finished your term, like you stayed here for 4 years and your visa is finishing and you don't have any plans to stay longer, you can get your pension or your superannuation. That's the cool thing about Australia. Now, pension is always very good money, because when they just deduct your pension from your salary, so you get good money, you get good money to go back to your country. And of course there'll be taxes and all that, but at the end of the day, you're going to take home a good amount. So guys, thank you so much. If you are planning to come to Australia and you're thinking about this visa, let me know in the comment section. If you would like me to share some more links maybe, or more information, let me know in the comment section. So far, that is the basic information about this visa. But I'm going to come back and show you how to get an employer who would like to sponsor you, how to look for these jobs. And up to there, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for tuning. Thank you for following me and always commenting and always cheering me up. I'll see you guys on my next video. Remember to subscribe. Bye.